Thank you for bearing with me. Good evening, guys. I'm sure I shall see you in just a second. Good evening. Where are my people at? Good evening. This is the 12th episode of Speak with Dilys. Thank you, Adjoa. How are you doing? I'm sure the rest shall follow very, very shortly. So thank you, those of you that have jumped on here. I will use this opportunity to pour a glass of water. Hi, Alice Coleman. How are you doing? Hi, Shireen. Thank you for jumping on here. Guys, as you join, just hit the share button. If 5 of you could do that, that would be amazing. And let us get into today's very, very interesting topic on Speak with Dilys. We're talking about trust. Hi, Ifwaduki. Thank you. I know that you will share. I don't even need to ask. I know you got my back. Hi, It's so lovely to have you on here. I don't know if you've been on here before. Yes. Hi. Decay, thank you for being on here as well. Thank you for joining. Happy Sunday, guys. Audra says, doing good. I hope you are well yourself. Hi, Elizabeth. Am I well? I am well. I'm a little bit out of sorts. The reason being, hi, Isaac, how are you doing? The reason being, I had like a serious wardrobe malfunction. So I've come on here thinking that I've forgotten something. I have forgotten something. You wouldn't know what it is. And I was going to say something very facetious, but I shan't. I shall behave myself today. But yes, guys, thank you for being on here. Hi, Ernest. How are you doing? It's lovely to have you guys join me this Sunday evening for the 12th episode of Speak with Dilys. Guys, do share this live. That would be great. Hi, Faye. Lovely to have you on here. And Abeku, hello. I'm doing very well. Thank you. So, guys, author Simon, haven't seen you for a little bit. I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Speak with Dilys. Thank you, Ernest, for the compliment. Trust me, listen, at the moment, I'm running out of clothes. So this is one of those ones where you're not proud. You just grab what you can find. So it was one of those. It's been a disaster trying to get ready this evening. So if I look a bit weird, allow it. So, guys, let's start. Can I first start by asking how you guys are feeling this Sunday evening? So give me some thumbs up, some hearts if you're feeling good. If you're not feeling good, this isn't a cue for you to say you're feeling good if you're not. If you're not feeling good, give me a care emoji or something and then type in the comments as to why you're not feeling that great if you can share. And I will acknowledge how you are feeling, because I think it's important when someone asks, how are you, that we can answer honestly. Aisha, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on here. Shell, don't apologise, love, because I was a little bit late. But we shan't go into that. But thank you so much. I hope you are feeling a little bit better, and we will definitely catch up. It's been a bit of a funny weekend for me, but, you know, we keep cracking on when we can. So, hi, Margarita. Lovely to have you on here as well. Guys, if you can share this live, that would be great. Do that to support your girl. You know, I don't charge for these sessions. It's all for free. So yeah, your support can be just sharing the live and us getting into great conversation as we do normally. So let me get through the formalities. Let me take my breath. Let me get through the formalities. So for those of you that have never been on Speak with Dilys before, my name is Dilys Silla. I am a best-selling author of the book Not This Widow and another book called Predator Prince, How to Find the Man of Your Dreams, Not Your Nightmares. Also, I am a public speaker. I also work as a life coach, and I specialize in, relationships. You can read up a bit more on what I do. I am also an event host. So if you have an event that you would like me to host for you, do get in touch and you will not be disappointed. So that is what I do. We have International Women's Day coming. I am taking bookings. I've got some amazing bookings for International Women's Day, which I will share soon. I won't share just yet, but I have got some amazing bookings, really interesting stuff. So yes, today, what are we going to be talking about? So for those of you that didn't see the little flyer that I send out before Sunday, I'm just going to read out to you what it is so that you can be, familiar with what we're talking about. We're talking about trust. So I did that thingy where T stands for this stands for that. So T stands for transparency, R stands for respect, U stands for understanding, S stands for safety, and T stands for time. So we're going to break all that down and have a very, very good conversation about trust. And this is what today's topic is about. When trust is broken in any relationship, does it automatically spell its end? On the 12th episode of Speak with Dilys, which is today, once bitten, once bitten, twice shy, we're going to look at what it feels like to be on the receiving end of our trust being broken, what the effects are on a relationship, what can be done to restore it, and how we can be sensible in love, business, and family by setting safe and reasonable boundaries to mitigate against the painful effects of trust being taken for granted. Should we be guarded, more cautious, or less trusting as a solution? In love, should we be the perpetrator as a safeguard against disappointment? Let's talk about the role transparency, respect, understanding, safety, and time what they play in cultivating, restoring, and maintaining trust in our relationships today. If you like what this topic is about, show me some love, give me some hearts, some thumbs up, and let's have what I believe will be a very interesting conversation. I don't see no hearts. So y'all don't like the topic. So what we gonna do? People, wake up. So 2 people, 3, okay, oh, I was about to log off. Okay, I see. So we are feeling the topics today, brilliant. Oh, Aikwe. I hope you feel better. I hope whatever it is something that you can find a solution to. If not, then send me a message in my inbox. Let me just welcome a few of you. I don't know why you're laughing, Let me just welcome a few of you. Evelyn, thank you so much for being on here. Thank you, author Simon. Lynette, thank you for being on here as well. Hi again, Anita. Rosemary, thanks for being on here. Amari, thank you so much. And Ernest, and all of those of you that were on the other page and have jumped on here, like Mimi as well. Thank you, Princess, my darling. Thank you so much for the compliment. Guys, before we go into today's topic, hi, Marlene, thank you as well for being on here. I want to talk very briefly about the conversation we had last week on suicide. It was an extremely important conversation. I want to commend all of you that shared your stories, that sent me private messages. It's a very important conversation to have. Evelyn King's son committed suicide a few days after his 26th birthday. And even from that, a lot of people found that triggering and sent me messages about that really, sad and shocking news. Now, I don't normally go over a previous episode. It's like once we visit it, unless I bring it back as a second topic, as a part 2, we don't really revisit it. But I just think that it's important that those of you that haven't seen the episode on suicide, please watch it. It is not about whether you feel suicidal or whether you are coping. It's for that person that you need to identify that is struggling. Okay, it was really about raising awareness on what suicide looks like, what it feels like, and to really do away with some of the myths and preconceptions about people who attempt suicide or people who are actually successful in committing suicide. So you'll find that in certain communities, the assumption is that once you've got money, then you don't have a care in the world, which is really shallow and quite silly. So it's important that we do, get ourselves educated so that we can support those people that aren't coming to say to you that they feel suicidal. Also to do away with some of the myths that you have to be suffering from mental health issues typically to be suicidal. There are people that feel suicidal because of a crisis that they find themselves in, relationship breakdown, financial issues and stuff like that, or a problem that they just feel is so insurmountable that they can't resolve. So I just thought I would quickly just, go there and just encourage you to watch that video, do share it. And if you are having any issues, you will find that there are a list of numbers where you can receive help and support. Failing that, yours truly is always here, anytime too. Okay, guys, so let's get into what is happening today. So, why did I decide to speak about trust? Now, you know that I get a lot of my inspiration either when I'm praying or I'm speaking to people or something would just drop in my spirit. And I was having a conversation with a girlfriend, and we were talking about trust, but on a really, really deep level. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I think that this would be a good topic to speak about. Because again, Speak with Dilys was created so that we could have conversations that we don't typically have in a safe, supportive environment, in a non-judgmental space. And that is typical because as a coach, that is the kind of space that we hold, or I hold for my clients, a safe space where there is no judgment whatsoever. So this conversation that I was having with my friend was just touching on different issues, and she was able to identify the point at which she had an issue with trust. So I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to go through this quite systematically. But basically what I've put down here is trust is a key component in any healthy relationship. So I'm not just talking about love relationship, but in any healthy relationship. It's not just about romantic relationships that trust is required and is key. Don't deceive yourselves that you can be happy without it. You can't. Who wants to constantly think, oh, well, I wonder where this person is. I wonder if this money has been taken. I wonder if, this person has gone and said this. Trust is essential for us to be able to function, period. It is just one of the things that is part of the fabric of any relationship. Guys, if you're watching and you've just joined, could you please share this video if you have not? That is all I ask, just a little support. That would be great. And so that I know that, it's worth my while coming here every Sunday. Amen? Okay, so the reason why trust is an issue for anybody is because expectation creates an atmosphere for trust. Where there is no expectation, trust doesn't become an issue. And what do I mean by expectation? You enter into a relationship, whether it be romantic, whether it be business. And once you enter into a relationship, and I've mentioned this before when I was talking about commitment, that there is a contract of sorts. So when I enter into a relationship with you, I have an expectation that you will be what you say on the tin. Okay, so this isn't a tin, and this is a free advert for Buxton. But, for example, it says Buxton sparkling water, because that's what I like. I don't expect to receive anything other than Buxton sparkling water inside this bottle. I don't expect to find tap water, like what my daughter does because she doesn't like sparkling. I expect to find what it says on here. It's the same with relationships. We expect that whoever we are dealing with, they are who they say they are, and they will do what they say they will do. Now, there is nothing wrong on the surface of having that expectation. Absolutely nothing wrong. That would be normal. But we're going to get into people that aren't like that, actually. That would be normal to have that expectation. But what we have to do about expectation is be realistic about it and know how we will manage it. So, for example, when you are going into a relationship, be it business, romantic, or otherwise, you need to take an objective view of the person with whom you are seeking to be connected with. And once you take a reasonable and sensible and practical and objective view of that person, then you can manage your expectations accordingly. Does that make sense, people? If it makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it's gone, let me know and I shall repeat it. Does that make sense? That basically you need to take an objective look at that person or that relationship and make a reasonable assessment of the kind of person they are, looking at their background, reputation, sometimes even culture, and then you are able to manage your expectation accordingly. Because once you're able to do that, you can mitigate against disappointment or levels of disappointment. Does that make sense? Guys, you're going to have to bear with me because I have had the most horrendous back pain. You don't even know. So guys, so that makes sense. Why do I say this? It is important that we become sensible in how we manage our emotions. Because emotions can be managed just as expectations can be managed. So for example, you are, let's take a business scenario, for example, because then that way you don't get the men or the women feeling attacked. And I hope you don't ever feel attacked when you're on my show. Let's say this business is known not to deal with their customer service inquiries adequately or efficiently or appropriately. But there is something that you want from that. No, let me give you a better example. What's the name of this company? Oh, they're a clothes company. Oh God, what is their name? I think they're called Suit Me. Now, quite frankly, they can be a bit rubbish. The clothes can be very, very, no, is it Chic Me? I think it's Chic Me, not Suit Me, Chic Me. Very pants. Now, I saw something that I liked, that I really, really liked. I managed my expectations by going onto Google and checking the reviews of this company. Oh, my things never arrived on time. Oh, my things looked completely different than when I first purchased them. They looked da-da-da-da. You know what? I looked at the stuff, I looked at everything, and I ended up spending about 100 and something pounds on a couple of items. When I was clicking send, when I was having my account debited, I mentally made a note in my mind that, girlfriend, you have potentially lost 125 quid. I managed my expectations from the get-go. So much so that I looked for other outfits that I needed for some particular event for myself. I managed my expectations. What I didn't do was hear that this company is poor in terms of their customer service and the quality of their clothes when they actually arrive. Spend that money if I didn't have it. And then if the goods had arrived would have been in line with what other people have said about it, I wouldn't have been upset. Because I know that the stuff is supposedly pants. Incidentally, okay, let me tell you something. Because I'm just blessed. Everything I ordered was absolutely bombastically wicked. In fact, there's a jumpsuit that I ordered that I haven't worn yet. I am just waiting for the right opportunity because it just looks so crisp that I have to just wait where I can just do some serious shakara, where I can just sit down and cross leg and be feeling very fine, But what I'm saying is I managed my expectation in that situation. I didn't go and order the stuff and it comes and I'm thinking, this is how trust is supposed to work. I trusted them. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 4. I didn't have all the information that I had and insist it was a 10. And then when it comes and the things are pants, I get upset and then I say I have an issue with, no. Be sensible, manage your emotions, manage your expectations. Let me read some comments. Okie dokie, let's see what's going on. Thank you, Shell. Thank you for the compliment. I was just saying how I don't feel great today. Looks wise, but it is what it is. Kay says he's fine. What's going on? It's frozen. I don't know. Is anyone else experiencing problems? Marlene Frank says, feeling great after a great weekend of celebrating my daughter's birthday in Manchester. That's lovely. Wish your daughter a belated happy birthday from me. Yes, I am back. And Mimi says, hi Dilys, so happy to catch you live. Thank you so much for being on here. My darling princess, how are you doing? Let's see, I'm trying to get some comments. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. Author Simon, do go and watch it and do share. Hi Kabu, how are you doing? Lynette Douglas says, do watch it if you missed last week. Insightful and informative. Thank you very much for that. NM, thank you so much. How are you doing? As well. Anita says, I like the way you say component. Oh, you said it's different. I realised people say component. No, that sounds odd to me. Component. Sorry. That's so funny. Thank you, Rosemary, for sharing. I know that you love me. I don't know about the rest. Hi, Carlo. How are you? Roz, how are you doing, sweetheart? Caroline Pedro, thank you for being on here. And Sophie. Sophie, how are you doing, my love? Leash, lovely to have you on here. And Anna. Shell says, in any relationship to me, if there is no trust, there is nothing. Everything is based on trust and respect. I like that. I can't say I'm much different. Ajwa Kankan says they are 419. Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. You know, everybody's had different experiences. I'm telling you, if you see the two outfits that I've got, you are going to see me. You're just going to praise the Lord. And he says, whether one can trust again can be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Depends upon the individuals, the nature of the relationship, and the factors involved. You are absolutely spot on. Hi, Katie Scott. Thank you for being on here, my love. Ajwa says, I never got my order or money back. Sorry, Ajwa can't come. Maybe I just have an anointing, you know. Maybe you should give your credit card to me and I'll order for you. I'm so sorry to hear that. Michelle Lewis says, I purchased from them, never again. Oh my God, I've just opened up a whole can of worms. Hey, hi, Cuz. Hi, Tina. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Please say hi to Mum for me. Marlene Frank says, thank you, love. Well, thank you too. Yes, they are. Oh, I'm cutting out occasionally. And I actually switched over so that didn't happen. I'm really sorry. Ernest says, this conversation has come in handy and at the right time for me. I've been unhappy for the past 4 years. You didn't say anything. For the past 4 years, and it's been terrible. My thoughts, feelings, mind, psyche has been ruined. Deep cracks has been created, and I find it difficult to forgive the culprit. The more I try to forgive and forget, the more I get bitter. Okay, Ernest, I'm going to touch on this very, very quickly for you. I don't believe in... I don't phrase it as forgive and forget, okay? And it's funny because one of the shows that I will be doing is how forgiveness affects mental health, yeah? I will be doing that show. All I will say to you is that hold tight, work through your emotions. Sometimes we try to fast track how we feel, respect your emotions, work through them, acknowledge them, label them appropriately, and you will get there. That is, you know, when it comes to forgiveness and mental health, there is a connection there. And I will be doing a program on that very soon. Yeah, so Ernest, just hang in there. And if you have to have a private conversation, just drop me a message. Carboy says, I always share. I know you do, darling. You're not like the rest of them. I know that you're lovely. It's the rest of them that I'm not too sure about. Heine says, sometimes managing the risk exposes the price for the relationship is too expensive to pay. Very true, and I like how you put that. Stella Poku, thank you for just jumping on here. I hope you're enjoying it. Guys, if you haven't shared, please do share. Okay, so we talked about managing expectation, and clearly some of you are still upset about your chic me experience. I shouldn't laugh. Like I said, I knew I'm going to lose. I might lose the money, so I didn't mind. You know, so there you go. Now, one of the things, I know that we are probably going to go more into the love and romantic relationship when it comes to trust. But I think, let me just touch on business really quickly, and then we'll spend the rest of the time on, you know, our love relationships, yeah? When it comes to business, I think you need to go through the necessary due diligence, ask people's opinion on the business that you want to connect with or the person with whom you want to do business. Don't look at things through rose-tinted glasses. Don't be greedy. Don't just look at the benefits, look at the pitfalls, and have proper conversations about what you perceive could go wrong with that business and how those situations would be handled, okay? Those are the kind of sensible steps I would take when it comes to trust. And as I said, the best recommendation are people that have done business with them. Look at their track record. What is the person's work ethic? How do they treat their customers? You know, how do they treat their pastors, their partners? You know, all those things are important. And that's what I'm going to say about business in a nutshell. I will thank you so much. It says, I greet each and every one on this great platform. God bless you. She's always a lovely, wonderful human being. She also has a show that she does on a Friday lunchtime. I will please post the link. I will actually be on there this Friday. So once the flyer is out, I will share, and you can join me there on Friday at 1:30 in the afternoon, I believe it is. Haruna, thank you very much for being on. He says, how are we all doing? Now, you know, this is what I love again about you guys. It's just the way you are just so, you come on here, you say hi to everybody, and it's just lovely. And we're building a really great community. And as I said, Speak with Dilys is about changing our community by changing ourselves. And that is why I do, you know, these sessions for free. I don't charge for this stuff. And I know what I give is a value. You know, I could be charging an arm and a leg for this. But it's important, and this is how important it is for me, that we start to make these local changes. And as I said, it would then have a knock-on effect in our families, in our communities and society as a whole. Look, every, pool of water started with a drop. So it might sound like a tall order, it's not. So guys, let's pay attention and really take on board the things that we learn here, and the things that you share with each other, and the things I learn as well. Because trust me, I learn a lot from you guys as well. Okay, so when it comes to romantic relationships, I think we first need to start with ourselves when it comes to trust. Are you naturally a trusting person? Because when you look at your own personality, it does dictate how you are going to interact with other people when it comes to trust. Because there are some people that they don't see a bad bone in anyone's body. They really do feel that everybody is just lovely and, we're all away with the fairies, A lot of people, there are some people that think like that. So when people who are naturally wired in that way, that everybody's just lovely and everything's fine and when their trust is broken, it is difficult. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying you need to look at the kind of person you are. Because from the kind of person you are, when it comes to the issue of trust, you will then know how to conduct yourself or how to comport yourself when you are dealing with other people, especially when you are in a relationship. Okay. I was going to talk about love languages, but I think I'm going to come back to that later. So when you're presented with evidence to the contrary, let's say you trust this person to be honest, and now you are presented with evidence to the contrary, how do you act? Do you make excuses for that person? Do you try to explain away what it is that you are seeing? Or do you then sit up and think, oh, what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing, and now I need to confront the situation? And I'm not necessarily talking about infidelity. Infidelity may be one of those things. I'm speaking very broadly about trust. Why I'm taking it from that angle, God knows. But that is just how I'm speaking about trust. That, how are you as a person? When trust is broken, how do you manage it? Because the one thing that I can say to you is, there are people, you always say that it's frozen. So I don't know, is everyone else experiencing it being frozen? Because I'm not seeing that my side at all. So do let me know. Hi, Patience. Thank you for joining. Who else just joined? Hi, Ikuya, my darling. How you doing? Curly Bailey, thank you for being on here. And Sadina, how are you? Adwa Prempet, thank you so much for being on here as well. And Derek, moi. Yes, so Lynette says, in relationships, broken trust can be more than cheating. For instance, not paying the share of the bills and not saying a word. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And not saying a word until brown envelopes start arriving and worse. Okay, author says it's good now. Thank you very much for letting me know about the connection. You're absolutely right. And that's why I was saying that I didn't want to concentrate just solely on infidelity or anything like that. I'm talking about trust generally. How do we manage it? Now, one thing I can tell you, this is terrible. You're all saying that I'm getting frozen, and unfortunately I'm not seeing that here. So just please bear with me. The one thing that promotes mistrust in a relationship is secrets. Secrets destroy trust. When you know that somebody has a right to know something that could influence their choice in either being with you or doing business with you or entrusting you with something, and you keep that secret from them, it can affect trust. And you can't be unaware of what you should disclose to another person, because you know that if they did know about it, you realize that they may not have anything to do with you, or they may decide that they're going to deal with you in a different capacity. And so I am speaking about the issue of trust from both sides. So, because we don't know what the future may hold. There are things that you may decide, oh God, I can't tell my other half this or my business partner this. And I'm just saying, what you run the risk of doing is destroying that relationship or having that relationship affected adversely because you are withholding information from that other party that could affect how they interact with you. And the question is, do you have the right to do that? And I would say no, because secrets destroy relationships. one of the phrases that I came up with, and I hope I can even remember what it is adopted mistrust. I.e., you look at other people and see what they've gone through. So for example, your dad cheated on your mum, just an example. And for that reason, you have adopted a mistrust for men because your mother went through it. Not because you have particularly had that experience. And I call it adopted mistrust. It's something that is very common and very dangerous, because what we tend to do is live somebody else's misfortune or mishap as if it happened to us, when really what we need to do is take on the responsibility to find out how and why it happened. Now, in the beginning, when I was saying about managing expectations, and I spoke about, chic me, that everybody knows that their reputation is pants. So if you're going to do business with them, then know that you run the risk of being disappointed. So when you are adopting this trust in a situation where I'm not going to trust any man because this is what my mother went through, or for example, what you need to look at is, what kind of person was your father? Was your father single when your mother met your father? What was their relationship? Should your mother have, preempted that there would be infidelity because of how she acquired your father? Those are the questions you should be asking, as opposed to just looking at the fact that this manifested and so therefore I'm never going to trust any man. And it happens all the time. And actually, just as I'm speaking, it reminds me of something that I went through. When I was 18 years old, I had a very, very, very good friend. And I shared this with her. I mean, considering we've been friends, I'm 50. We've been friends for 32 years. I only shared this with her a few years ago, and she was shocked. And I would tell you, I'm not going to mention her name, so you're not going to know. Now, when I was 18, she was a few years older than me. And there was a person that she was absolutely in love with. She absolutely loved this guy. Guys, if you're watching this, please share, because this is when it gets juicy. And I remember being at her house sometimes, and she'll say, oh, so-and-so is going to be coming over. And so-and-so never showed up. And this happened many times. I was young. I was 18. So I wasn't experienced when it came to relationships at all. And I remember, at one point, they were supposed to actually move into together. And, she made the move. And the guy, I saw that, he'd taken some of his stuff there, but I knew instinctively those weren't things that were important to him. I could tell from the quality of the stuff that was there that this is stuff that, if he never saw again, he wouldn't have cared. By now, I can count how many times I'd even met him. And every time I see my friend that bit broken, I was 18 years old. And I remember vowing to myself that I would never wait for any man. I was 18. I am 50. If I'm honest, I don't think I've changed much. Maybe some may say that's a positive thing, but if we're talking about adopting mistrust, I had a mistrust of men in that capacity. That when a man tells you to wait, don't wait, because he's not gonna come through. And I vowed that I would never allow any man to take my youth away from me, to take my years away from me by promising me tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. And that experience had a profound effect on how I dealt with relationships moving forward. I'm telling you. And that was what I call adopted mistrust, because I'd seen somebody that I loved going through that bitter experience. I adopted that mistrust, that men cannot be trusted in this capacity. So that whole wait for me thing, no. So that's what I mean by adopted mistrust. But I'm saying that why I'm talking about it is we need to break certain things down so that we don't put people in one category or under one umbrella because of an experience that we have had. Because when we decipher things a little bit more, what we have to then appreciate is that there are other factors that come into play. That it's not just what we see on the surface. So if you're going to adopt something, you need to make sure that you've done your research properly and make sure that you're able to look at the unseen things. Those were things that I was just seeing. I never asked my friend what the agreement was. I didn't ask. Maybe for all I knew, it could have been that was what they had agreed. I didn't know. All I know is from my observation, I adopted that mistrust and I ran with it for years. I said, I would never wait for any man. Not doing it. And I literally have conducted nearly all my relationships with that in mind. Because once I hear anything, one leg is out the door. And I just wait for the second one to follow. Why? Because my 18-year-old self said, don't ever rely on that scenario. Don't do it. Then I talk about transferable mistrust. I.e., because you have had an experience, you are now taking it on to the next person when they haven't necessarily done anything to warrant your mistrust. So that's transferable mistrust. I had an experience with Joe Bloggs, and so therefore, now that I'm dealing with Joe Bloggs number 2, this is what I'm going to carry into that relationship or into that arena. We need to check it. And this is where, healing and responsibility also comes in. And being able to be objective and saying, okay, this is where I went wrong, but this person, do they have any similarities? Because if they do have similarities, then you are the common denominator, in which case there is some work here to do. The work is not out there, the work is here. Yeah. So if you're constantly if you've had a situation and you're going into another one and you can see clear similarities between situation 1 and situation 2, then it's not situation 1, it's not situation 2, it's here. Agreed or disagree? Let me see by some thumbs up, and I'm going to just quickly go through some comments. Abra Jarvis, thank you for being on here. Anita says, good phrase, experience that through observation as a child. Yeah. Tinola, thank you for being on here. And Patience, thank you, my darling. And Michelle Lewis, thank you for being on here. And thank you for inviting somebody on as well. Augustina Ban, thank you for jumping on here. I don't recognize your name, so if you're new, welcome. What says, any situation that leaves sour taste, whether done to you or experienced through some, it puts you in adoptive mistrust mode. Yes, it does. It really does. And I think, but we need to check it because sometimes it can be detrimental. So for example, when you are adopting that mistrust, there may be a very good person that wants to come into your life, may not necessarily be romantic. Let me tell you, let's even break it down even further. Adoptive mistrust. We're Africans, right? Some of us are Africans. So those of us who are Ghanaians, I'm Kwo, okay? Don't ever trust these other people. Other people are like this, other people are like that. For example, or Ghana people are like that. We become tribalistic. Adopted mistrust. Adopted mistrust right there, because we've heard that these people are not good. We've heard that these people are like that. It's another way of being, prejudice, really. It's a prejudice, that we feel works to our advantage to protect ourselves. But does it really work though? Are we not missing out on opportunities that actually could be very pleasurable for us? So we need to watch that. But what does it mean to be enough in a relationship where you feel that you are worthy of, not that you are worthy, but yeah, you're worthy of being treated in a way that your trust is not broken. Because sometimes what we experience is that feeling of condemnation when somebody has broken our trust. Was I not worth being faithful to? Was I not worth you being honest with me? Was I not worth you being transparent with me? And it can be a very tough road to walk. Why is it tough? I will tell you why it's tough. Because when the person who has broken the trust is not remorseful and doesn't seek to restore the trust, it becomes a double punishment. Yeah? So the person that has broken the trust, when they don't seek to make amends, it becomes even more painful. Because think about it, when you trust somebody, what you're saying is, I have somebody that I don't need to worry about when it comes to a certain part of my life. Whether it's my emotions, whether it's my finances, whether it's my children, whether it's whatever. Because I trust you, I can go to bed at night and not have to think what is happening in this area of my life. So when you are in that space and you find, oh, actually, I can't trust you because that money that I left you, you've spent it and you haven't said anything to me. And now that I'm in a situation and I need that money, not only do you not have my money, but you're not remorseful. You're adding insult to injury. And that is where that mistrust begins to affect us mentally and emotionally. And that's when we fall into transferable mistrust mode. Because the next time, and I've seen people say this all the time, I'm never lending anybody money. It's like, no, it's not about that. It's about being wise to whom you lend money to and also what you can afford to lose. Guys, I am struggling with my neck and my back, so please bear with me. I am really in pain. Whew, but there you go. And this chair is not the most comfortable, but actually I probably could do better. Hold on one second, just bear with me. So yes, that is what I would say is one of the major areas of people being unable to have trust rebuilt. So even if the person who has broken that trust, they decide to part ways or what have you, it then becomes a problem for the next person in a situation that may even slightly resemble the one that has been left. But we have to look at that. Now, there are a lot of effects of trust being broken, depending on what it is and depending on who it was that broke that trust. Guys, if you want me to stick to relationship mistrust, let me see by show of hands. No. Let me do this now. If you want me to stick to a relationship mistrust, show me some hearts. If you want me to do general, give me the thumbs up. Because I don't want to confuse the two. So let me know. You guys are silent. So do I just pick what I want? Okay, so I'm seeing two thumbs up for general. You people don't like instruction. You are showing me the care, Kimmy. Okay, it kind of seems equal. Okay, so I just may have to kind of no, actually, I think there's more hearts, I think. Okay, guys, let me just see how I'm going to do this, because as I'm speaking, I'm realizing that there's actually quite a lot as usual. So guys, if you're on here, please do share. Only about 5 of you have shared today, so that's a bit disappointing considering there's 45 of you watching now. So guys, please do share. That would be very much appreciated. Okay, so let me take the relationship side, for example. When you are in a relationship and you trust that person who you're in a relationship with, and that trust is broken, it can have very detrimental effects on you psychologically. So whether we take a infidelity situation or a mismanagement of finances, because I am telling you, I've had couples where one party has been exceptionally dishonest with finances. Homes have been at risk, homes have been lost, and they're even impacting on one's health because of worry, because they were not aware that bills were not being paid. I have had quite a few situations like that. And it is a very difficult thing to resolve because you see, for trust to be rebuilt, there has to be acknowledgement, there has to be repentance, there has to be remorse. When somebody has broken your trust and they are neither of these things, it is difficult. Now, when we started, I spoke about these T standing for, trust, respect, understanding, safety, and time. Let me just go over that really quickly. In any relationship, there has to be transparency. You have got to know with whom you are dealing. There has to be. Because if there isn't transparency, if you don't know the person that you are with, your trust is misplaced. So try and find out as much as you can about a person that you want to be involved in, and pay attention to when they hesitate about certain things. Be wary of the person that says, this part of my life, don't go there. Because guess what? That part of their life is the very part that will affect your life. Standard. So this is where wisdom and practicality comes in. If you are in a relationship, there has got to be transparency, without a doubt. When we speak of R for respect, for me, I'm big on respect. I cannot be in a relationship of any kind where there is no respect. I cannot do it. I cannot have a friendship where there's no respect. So I'm one of these people, and this hasn't happened for a long time, but if I have to really, really, really tell you about your backside, that relationship is over. Not because it's a forgiveness thing for me, because I'm one person, I just thank God that I've never been one to struggle with forgiving people. I really think that's just divine. But one thing I can't maintain is a relationship where there is no respect. If a certain line is crossed, that's it. Because I will never see you the same. I'm not saying we don't fall out. I'm talking about disrespect. Once that happens, we're done. Now, I feel that in any relationship, when respect is there, it's easier for trust to operate, because I think trust is respect. For me, trust is synonymous with respect. Understanding in a relationship is important where trust is concerned, because you need to understand what will happen if you break that trust, and being able to have an understanding between the relevant parties so that you are always able, through the transparency and respect, to know what the expectations are of each person. Because it's not a one-time thing. There are times where, when you start a relationship, the levels of transparency are not stagnant. So, for example, if I meet you and we both have nothing, and we're sleeping in one bedroom, and the man starts working, for example, or he's doing some business and he's hit the jackpot, and this couple are still together, do you feel it's still important to be transparent with your finances? Because when you were together on food stamps, for example, you were able to tell each other whose benefit had come in first, yeah? But the moment one party starts to earn money, you're now hiding your bank statements, hiding your credit card statements, not sharing, the business deals that are coming in. So transparency is not stagnant. It evolves. It should evolve as the relationship evolves. So this is why the understanding element is important, so that you keep speaking and redefining what your relationship is and the different levels of trust required within that relationship. Does that make sense, people? Ooh. I put down safety. And I think the reason why I put S down for safety is because when somebody trusts you, what they're saying is they feel safe with you. And for somebody to feel safe with you, you don't take that for granted. And they feel safe with you because of what you have allowed them to feel about that relationship or about your interaction. about how you have defined that relationship. So there is safety where there is trust, there is safety. Because you know that if the situation changes, you are well taken care of. You know that you are safe with this person. They are not taking your trust for what? For granted. So when you entrust them with finances, you know that they will be able to give account. I mean, for those of you who are of African heritage, how many times do people say they sent money back home to a family member to build a house, and when they go there ain't nothing because the family member was sending pictures of someone else's house and they were spending the money? That's common. That's very, very common. So when people trust you, they think they're safe with you. They think their money's safe with you. They think their dreams and aspirations are safe with you. So they share things with you. But I'm saying that manage your expectations. You know, keep your eyes open. Oh, I am suffering. All right, I need to stretch my neck a bit. Right. Oh, you see, this is why I used to have my massage. And because of this Omicron, I've not been able to have it. Oh, there's a lot of comments here. Okay, so let me... Marlene says, happens regularly. Yeah, it does. It's disgusting. Hi, Princess. How are you doing? Says, you have to feel safe to be transparent. That's true. That's very true. Ernest says, the burden of not transferring the sour experience of mistrust lies on the new person and not the victim. I disagree. Nope. You cannot make somebody responsible for the emotions that you feel. So the victim has already been injured by the new person, must work hard to erase those marks of mistrust before he or she can build a new and better foundation of trust. I completely disagree. You are the one that has been hurt. You have to manage the experience that you have gone through and come to terms with it. Because what often happens is you make that other person liable and responsible for somebody else's sin that has been committed. And it's a dangerous mindset to have, like, I'm broken, therefore it's your responsibility to fix me. Absolutely not. It is nobody's responsibility to fix you other than you. So, and the thing is this, if you are that damaged emotionally, then you shouldn't be going into another relationship. What you should be doing is seeking methods by which you can heal. It is nobody's responsibility to heal you. It is your responsibility to heal you. So on that one, I would have to completely, debunk that. This is not the responsibility of the new person. Then you become a burden. And then what then happens is you contaminate that relationship because of your past. And it will keep on going like that, because every time that person breaks up because they can't, satisfy your insatiable need of reassurance, because that's what happens, you go on to the next person. And guess what? All these people are new, but you're still the same person with the same issue. So you need to heal yourself. If you're not healed, don't go into another relationship, because it ain't gonna work. Sorry. Okay. Hi, Katumi. Thank you for being on here. William, did I lose you? Because it says you've come back. Alana, thank you for being on here as well. Guys, I'm just trying to quickly go through and read the comments, because again, my time is up and I haven't, actually, I owe you some time. So let me zip it. Thank you very much, Even, for sharing as well. And Anointed Rich, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment. Michelle Lewis, God bless you. Olanubi, thank you for being on here. Okay, keep the comments coming. Evelyn says, having someone to break your trust can leave you feeling hurt, shocked, and physically ill. You're not wrong. It can really affect your mental and emotional as well as physical health. 100%. Michelle Lewis says, too many aren't honourable these days. They don't know what it is to be honourable in words or actions. I absolutely agree. Vanessa Bob, how are you doing? Alana says, wow, thanks sis. I don't know what I did, but you're welcome. Luna says, thank you for being on here as well. Jules says, love is pain. It can be. And it can be a very beautiful thing as well. We just have to be wise in who we choose to love. And no, I'm sorry, I'm not of the school of thought you can't help who you fall in love with. I think you can. I think you can. I think just before you fall, you can catch yourself. Thank you very much, Mimi. I appreciate, the compliment. Okay, so as I'm so way behind. Kay, Samantha, thank you for being on here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see, because I haven't even gotten halfway. That kind of like was my just foundation. Okay, so we've spoken quite a lot about, you know, the effects of when trust is broken. And I think the last one was S, was safety. So the last one was T, which was time. Yes. The issue with time and trust when it has been broken is that both parties need time in order to restore trust. Why do I say both parties need time? The person who has broken the trust needs time in which to regain it. The person whose trust has been broken needs time to get over the trust that has been broken. What should not happen is this. The person who has broken the trust has absolutely no right whatsoever to dictate how long it should take you for you to gain back their trust. That the only part that they have control over are the steps they need to take to gain your trust back. What they can't say is, okay, well, I sinned on Monday, but you know, it's Friday now, get over it, let's get on with it. That doesn't work. Time is very important for both parties. You need to be able to have time to say, right, these are the things that we need to put in place. But when I get to the conclusion, I'm going to break it down, what we can do to restore trust and the steps that we need to go through. You see, when you are somebody that has broken trust, what you should never do is antagonize the person whose trust you've broken. What do I mean by that? Don't be flippant about it. Don't be nonchalant about it. It is important that you recognize the seriousness of what it is that you have done. So whether it's an infidelity issue, whether it is a money issue, whether even it's a I confided in you issue. I told you a secret about me that I trusted you with, and you've gone and opened your mouth and told somebody. Those things are serious and it hurts people. And so therefore, I think something's bitten me. And so therefore, that person is going to need time, as someone said, to get over the shock and to heal from it. Because what you have to understand is that when trust is broken, that person is wounded. And what happens with wounds? They need time to heal. Now, the time of healing is dependent on the wound. So if I face a little cut like I have on my little pinky finger here, it was so painful, you have no idea. So there was this Pyrex bowl that I have, and I think it was chipped on the side and my finger hit it. That thing bled for like an hour or more. It's like it just wouldn't stop bleeding. The time it's taken for this to heal is different from when I fell and tore the ligaments in my ankle. In fact, I've done it twice on both feet. I was on crutches for 3 months. I could not wear shoes, and even more painfully, I couldn't wear heels for ages. That was devastating. Depending on the wound will depend on the time required to heal. So if, for example, you have been married for however long, actually, it doesn't really matter. Because I think it's just as painful to find out that your spouse has been unfaithful if you've been married for a year as it would be if you've been married for 25 years. Because each side of the spectrum is like, well, we've only just been married, so how could you do this? Or, but we've been married for so long, how could you do that? So depending on what the wound is, will determine how long it will take to heal. Now, if you're the person that has inflicted the wound, you need to understand that this kind of wound takes a long time or will take a certain period of time. And therefore, I need to give that person time to be able to heal. Not that when it's healing, you go and pick at it. And when it starts bleeding, think, oh, but it should have been healed by now. It would have been, but you've been messing with the sore. And therefore, the scar tissue isn't able to form because you keep picking at it. What do I mean by that? It means you're either repeating what it is that broke the trust, or you're not doing what is required for the trust to be rebuilt. And that is the issue. You also have to understand, suspicion is the price you pay for breaking trust. If I confide in you and you break my trust, and I hear something later on, maybe you weren't even there, completely unconnected to you, and I accuse you, or even if I don't accuse you, I come and ask you, it is a price you pay for breaking trust. You need to understand that that's when you have to do some work, because because trust is easy to give. Once it's broken, it is very difficult to get back. Why? Because it requires work. Agree? Cool. I'm glad you agree. Now, as to how much work you want to put in to rebuilding that trust is indicative of how much you value the relationship or not. If it's a relationship that is worth having, if it's a relationship that means something to you, if it's a business that means something to you, you will do what is required to rebuild that trust. Depending on how highly you value the relationship or not. So if trust has been broken, you can see the effect of your actions that it's had on the person with whom you are in a relationship with, or you're doing business with, or who's confided in you, or who's entrusted you with their money and what have you, and you've broken that trust. How you respond is indicative of the value that you have placed on that thing. And this is the key thing, because I'm speaking to both parties here. So for the person whose trust has been broken, you remember I said in the beginning, managing your expectations and being objective in assessing a situation to know what level of trust you should afford somebody. When it has been broken, the same criteria applies. The same criteria applies. How is the person behaving? How seriously are they taking the situation? How are they responding to what it is that they have done? Then you can ask yourself whether it is worth spending the T word, the time, in giving them the opportunity to restore that trust, or calling it quits. This is where objectivity comes in, and not being overly emotional. I mean, a lot of people say that I can be very cold. I wouldn't say I can be cold. I guess it depends on who's asking. But I am very practical when it comes to anything, especially affairs of the heart. I'm very practical. I don't get sentimental. I take myself out and I look at the situation as if I'm dealing with a very good friend. What advice would I give them? And that is how I conduct my affairs. So in a situation where, trust has been broken, the response from that other party should indicate to you whether you should waste time on allowing that person the opportunity to gain back your trust. Because sometimes you know that they can't really be bothered. They're not really bothered. They've just said sorry to shut you up. Or they've just feigned remorse because they have something that they want. Okay? Right, what time is it? Wow, guys. Are you enjoying this? Because I'm really, 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 really rushing, and I feel that I haven't even scratched the surface of this trust issue. So do forgive me if we have to come back to this, but I'm going to rush through a little bit now. One of the things I put here is you need to lose your pride when you've broken somebody's trust. That is not a time for you to be arrogant. It's actually a time for you to be humble, because through your humility in how you apologize and the desire to restore trust, they are all the things that the person who I've just said must be objective in observing how you are behaving. It's one of the things that should be looked at so that you can see that the person is genuine. If they're still coming with the yeah, but don't waste your time. Either it's a maturity issue on the part of that person, or it is a pride issue. Neither one will help build trust and a mature, healthy relationship. When we said in the beginning that trust is required for any healthy relationship. Where there is no remorse, you cannot build trust. Where there is pride, trust, once broken, cannot be restored. Because what then happens is the person then projects and tries to make you responsible for their actions. And you see, that's why the Bible says that God resists the proud and he gives grace to the humble. If you're humble, you will have that grace to be able to come together. And this is another key thing. Ask how that person wants you to restore trust. And we're going to get onto that in a minute. Now, one thing, I remember saying this thing to somebody once. If your pride is greater than your love, then check your love. If your pride is greater than your love, then check your love. If your pride is greater than the restoration of that friendship, then check your love. If your pride is greater than you being able to say sorry, then check your love. Because if you really love something or somebody, pride is the last thing. In fact, pride is one of the first things that should hit the road when you really love somebody. I've been in a relationship, whereby pride went completely out of the window because of my heart towards the relationship. If I'm still having to be the guarded, whatever individual I was, however many years ago, then I'm not ready. Let's come to the conclusion now. I'm going to quickly whiz through some comments. Okay, that was the amen to what I was explaining about having to heal yourself and it being very important that you do that before entering into a relationship. And I believe Princess was agreeing to that. Anointed Root says, well nailed. Marlene says, take time to heal yourself before moving on. Absolutely. Amadori says, self-healing before you enter a new relationship. Absolutely. Vivian Latte, thank you for joining. Anointed Root said, powerful show. Thank you so much. Adra Kam says, you have to learn to fix yourself first. And if you can't, then you ain't ready for a new relationship. If I don't trust, I can't have a relationship with you. Very true. Prince says, Falaji says, absolutely not the responsibility of the new person. Everyone has been through some pain. I was thinking that when I was saying that, actually. Or the other. We all need to be healed before, in quote, moving on. Thank you very much. Anointed Rick said, very educative. Thank you. Rosemary Bois says, loving this discussion. Thank you so much. Jay Obika, my girl, how you doing? William Manfield says, relationships, however, have a way of healing us. Indeed, we are emotionally damaged. It's the love and attention of others that restore us, especially the broken who have become suicidal. That is true, but I think we need to break out because there's a few different elements going on there. Let's take it in bits. Relationships, however, have a way of healing us. They are relationships in terms of our friends, not a next romantic relationship where we are broken, because that just does not work. Indeed, we are all emotionally damaged. No, we are not. Some people have taken the time to heal themselves. I am not an emotionally damaged person because I took the time to make sure that I am healed, that I don't take in baggage or sins of, for example, an ex into a new relationship. It is very important that we don't do that. And then you said, it's the love and attention of others that restores us. Yes, you're absolutely right. And then you said, especially the broken who have become suicidal. You're right. But I think what the person was talking about was in the context of being disappointed in love and the new relationship being responsible for making them feel loved, such that they don't have to remember or revisit the hurt that they have from a previous relationship. And I'm saying absolutely not. You healing is 110% your responsibility. And it's important that you do that because what you do is you become so suspicious. So let me give you an example. You are broken up from divorced because of infidelity. You haven't come to terms with the part you may have played, how the other person, how the other person's actions have affected you, and what you've learned from it as a person, because we all have to learn from these horrible situations that we go through. Because you haven't done that, you're now in a new relationship, and because in the last relationship, this person had an affair with somebody that they were working with, but would lie and say, I'm working late, that's why I'm not home, and you later on found out that they were lying. Now this new person, when they are genuinely working late, you are so suspicious that you're ringing them all the time. They come home and you're sniffing their clothes, and who wants to live like that? It's unhealthy, it's unreasonable, and it's psychologically damaging to both parties. And this is where we end up in abusive, toxic relationships. And that is why it's important that when you are so wounded that you get the necessary emotional health support. A lot of people don't seem to understand that when you are brokenhearted, when somebody has messed with your heart and your head, it is a form of trauma. Trauma needs treatment. I repeat, trauma needs treatment. Unless you are somebody that is very, very in tune with your emotions and can understand how your emotions work and how you process things, you are likely to need professional help. Get it. Get it sooner rather than later. And I find that we are way too, nonchalant about the effects of broken relationships on our emotions and our mental health. So we don't seek to have the support that we really should do. So thank you very much for that, William. It was really a great opportunity for me to explain further. Gordon, thank you for being on here. Omar Stewart, thank you for being on here. So excellent, keep up the great work, and thank you for being on here. Ernest says, we need a part 2 of this. You're wonderful, dude. I think you're wonderful too. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I always respect people that share their heart. And I hope, even though I may not agree, that you don't take it personally, because like I said, we are family that gather here every Sunday and we learn from each other. I am not the epitome of wisdom. That's why I read out comments. Otherwise, I would speak for an hour and I'd be gone. But I read your comments because we can all learn, yours truly included. Hi, Francis. Thank you so much for being on here. Jules says, invest in a high backwind office chair. William, if I tell you how much pain I'm in right now, you wouldn't believe. I'm really suffering. But this is how much love I have for y'all. Shirley Ann says, hi, I am late today. I was just going to say, where have you been? Lovely to better late than never. Thank you for being on here. And Edith says, absolutely no way can they dictate. Absolutely. Anointed Rich said, that's right. Marlene Frank says, that's so true. Maybe trust cannot be gained. I think it can. And I'm going to tell you how in a second. Vicky, I haven't seen that name before. Vicky Akosia Ajimai Frimpong. I love your name. How are you doing? Thank you for being on here. Faustina Amplefoot as well. Julia Roberts, oh my goodness, where have you been? Ashanti, thank you for being on here as well. Guys, I've run out of time, but I'm going to come to the conclusion now. Okie smoking. Conclusion. When someone wants to rebuild trust, they will ask you what they can do to rebuild it. They will actually ask, I'm sorry I hurt you, or I'm sorry I said this, I'm sorry I broke your confidence in saying what I shouldn't have said, or doing what I shouldn't have done. What can I do? And this is where it's really simple. What you can do in regaining trust is by keeping your word. When you say something to a person whose trust you have broken, for whatever that reason may have been, whether it was business, relationship, family, you broke a confidence or what have you, keep your word. If you say, let's say, for example, I say something to Anita in confidence and she runs off and tells Shirley Ann, and I get upset about it, and I say to Anita, please don't ever discuss my business with Shirley Ann again. You have to keep your word. Because if you do it again, you have no right to be asked to be forgiven again. You lose your right. Because understand, when people give you an opportunity to restore trust, it is not a right, it is a privilege. Okay? It is not a right, it is a privilege when people give you the opportunity to redeem yourself from what you have done wrong. And if you're concerned enough about your reputation, if you're concerned enough about how you have shown up in that relationship or in that scenario, then you'll take the opportunity to be a better person, because really that's what it is. Be consistent. If you've broken somebody's trust, do what you say you will do and be consistent. Don't be empathetic 1 minute and then the next minute you are nonchalant. Don't be understanding 1 minute and defensive the next. Be consistent. Be open and be honest. Can you guys please share this? Because we're going to be ending soon, but please do share. Be open and be honest. Be, what's that T word? Be transparent. If you've broken their trust, and let's say, for example, your partner found something dodgy on your phone, unlock the damn phone. I've said this before, unlock the phone, or give your partner the PIN. You don't have to, if you want to restore trust, what you have to understand is you're going to have to do something different. What you will not be able to do is maintain the status quo. You can't act as if nothing has happened. Once you break trust, you have to act differently from before that trust was broken. Yes? So you can't say, well, I can still go down the pub and come back at 10 o'clock if I like, as if nothing had happened, when at the pub is when you got into a fight and the people that you fought decided to come and raid the house. Just as an example. You can't behave as you did before. Something has got to change. Now, this is on the person whose trust has been broken. You need to check your insecurities and your demands. Be reasonable and make sure that your demands are attainable. I will repeat, if you are the person whose trust has been broken, you need to check your insecurities, you need to check your demands, you need to be reasonable, you need to be fair, and you need to see whether your demands are attainable. For example, your partner has cheated on you, and you're saying to him, I don't want you to speak to another female again. It ain't gonna work. It's not going to work. If you feel that the standard of what you require to make you go back into that place of trust is too high, then you may have to part company. But you have to be reasonable in your demands. I do not think it is unreasonable if evidence was found on your phone, your spouse or your partner may wish to look through your phone. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's the reassurance they need. After a while, they will not need to do that anymore. But if you become defensive, why do you need to look about it? It doesn't help to restore that trust. That suspicion is there. And like I said, if the person means enough to you, the amount of effort that you put into restoring that trust would be indicative of how important that person is or that relationship. If you've done all you've demanded, walk or get help if it's not getting better, because it will not naturally get better. When trust is broken, things don't naturally just fall into place. You have to make it happen. You have to do something tangible, practical to restore that trust. What else have I got here? Gaining trust comes at a price. Are you prepared to pay it? It's going to cost you something. You are going to have to work. You may have to say sorry more than you are used to. You are going to have to humble yourself. You're going to have to check, again, is your pride greater than your love? Yeah? You too will be tested. You need to admit your mistakes. You need to be proactive in supplying information. So, for example, don't make me ring you and say, where are you? Call me and say, darling, I am going to be late because. That's you being proactive. Or saying, so-and-so got in touch with me today. I'm just letting you know because I don't want you to find out from here. Be proactive in supplying information to the person whose trust you have broken. Don't downplay your fault. It is insulting. Don't invalidate the other person's feelings. The amount of effort will show you and the person that you are with the depth or the shallowness, okay, of your love and commitment. And on that note, in all you're getting, get understanding. I am done. I have gone over again, which is not good. There is just so many messages on here, but I hope you have enjoyed today's show on trust. I did try to be as generic as I could. Akwong Ngui says, thank you so much for this very insightful session. Thank you so much. Marlene Frank said, word should be your bond. Yes, that's why I don't play with, I'm a very honest person. If I promise something, I don't like to, I don't have to give excuses. I have to be, Jay says it's a hard topic because you don't want to tar people with the same brush. People do wickedness and you cannot shut down your kindness to everyone else and look after number one. You're absolutely right. And plus you're too nuts, Jackie. You can't do that. Samantha Hall, thank you for being on here. Anita says, great point. It's indeed a privilege as opposed to a right. Kelly Harris, thank you for being on here. Kate, loving this session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Carbu, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I'm in so much pain. So if I have permission to log off, I would like to take that permission. My neck is really aching. So guys, it's always wonderful to be on here with you. As I said, I am planning to have a Speak with Dilys event in London in the month of April, God willing, at the end of April, I am looking for sponsors for this show. So if anybody would like to help towards the cost of the venue, food, whatever, please do get in touch with me, because I'm trying to move this platform so that we can have some human interaction. It will be, I mean, come on, we have a great time on a Sunday virtually. Can you imagine if we're all in one space? And as I have said, my events are pretty lovely. Those of you that have ever attended any of my events, whether it was the Fit Chicks Club Spa Weekend in Brighton, whether it was the dinner in Totteridge, whether it was the book launch at the Grand in Holborn, Sky Bar, whether it was in Ghana book launch, whether it was the Who Will Hear My Cry charity board. I've done quite a few events actually. Let me pat my back. Abdul says he won't allow the phone to be checked. That's on you. So you just basically have a home where there's mistrust, because the only reason why you won't allow your phone to be checked is because you have something to hide. And I'm just saying, you know, listen, let me tell you something here. I am not saying you have to have a relationship where there is trust. You can have a crap relationship where everybody suspects the other and there's always fighting and there's secrets. That's your choice. But I'm speaking to people that want to enjoy the beauty of a relationship that is not only loving, but is respectful and is open, that you can be naked beyond the flesh to your partner. If it's a business relationship, that you know that if anything happened to you, that your business partner would take care of your family, for example, because there's that level of not just trust, but respect. So don't get me wrong. I am not saying that you have to live according to my standards. You can be married and have 10 women on the go or 10 men on the go. It's your private parts. You do with it what you will. Don't let me stop you. But I'm talking about having a level of quality of relationship that is the envy of other people, because we're doing it right. So it's all about choices, people. I'm not forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. So guys, I've got to go because I actually have a meeting at 9:45. I just realized. So I've got to go, people, and I'm hungry. So thank you so much for your wonderful company and your time for another edition of Speak with Dilys. Please do let me know if you are interested in this event in April. I'm looking for a venue. It will be in London somewhere, as they all are. It will be your usual champagne reception, which will be, the first hour will be for VIPs. So there'll be a cocktail hour, and then it will be open up for everybody else. So I will bid you a very good week. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting as usual. Keep the conversations going. And next week is the 13th episode of Speak with Dilys, which should be the last. So if you will be sad to see me go until the next season, show me a sad face and let me see if I should change my mind. Okay, well, it's all hard. So you're glad to see the back of me. All right, then. Next week, Sunday, will be the last episode of Speak with Dilys. I'm not sure what we're going to do, whether it will be a special and we will revisit all the topics that we've spoken about over the last 13 weeks it will be. I think this series has been amazing. Oh, there's a lot of sad faces. I think it's been amazing. Let's see what happens next week. We'll see. You never know. Be praying. Pray hard. So guys, God bless you all. Do share this video. I shall catch you later. See you next week, Sunday, and I'll let you know what we're going to be talking about. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.